What's up, guys? Welcome to Life of Acro. I'm Acro Brandon, and this is my life. Today we're going to talk about the Hero 9, which I just received within the last week, and what I think is one of their major design flaws. So before we get into the major design flaw, I feel like it's always safe to say that there's always some kind of frustration when you have a GoPro, regardless of which series it is. I'm just upgrading from a Hero 7 to a 9, basically because my girlfriend is stealing my Hero 7 all the time. The Hero 7 works really good for our application and needs. We teach fitness classes at a private office space that we have, so we use it for the wide angle view, and then sometimes we have it from the ceiling looking down. And what's really nice about the Hero 7 in the earlier iterations is that you have a micro HDMI port, which allows us to plug into a cam link, and then we can get that into the computer. With the Hero 8 and 9, obviously you need the media mod, which is an additional attachment to have an HDMI port. What is nice about the Hero 9 is that yes, you can take the USB and connect that to the computer, and now they have like a webcam mode, so that's a really nice upgrade. For me, the issue there is that I need 25 feet of cabling to get from the ceiling down and around the corner and everything else to the computer, and I haven't found a 25-foot USB-C cord yet. So for me, the micro USB or an HDMI extension cable is something that would actually work out better for my particular application. So for me, needing to add a media mod just so we can add an external microphone or have an HDMI input is a little bit of a nuisance, but really not the biggest thing. I have had some overheating, and I have had this thing freeze already, which is super interesting because what I was doing was just charging the battery. I'm only using the main battery that comes with this for right now until some knockoffs start to come up on the market. Then I'll buy like a 3-pack for a really good price. But I did charge this 2 times already, or make the attempt of charging, and what happened was after I unplugged it from the wall, the 2 LED lights stayed on and the camera was actually frozen, and the only way I could unfreeze it was to do a hard pull the battery and put it back in, and then it would fire back up. So far it's happened 2 times out of, let's say, 3 times that I've plugged it in to recharge it. Let's get to the real issue at hand. So the improvement starting since the Hero 8 was that they included little tripod clips or the mounting clips into the bottom of the camera itself, so you can kind of hold it, you can put it into things. You don't really need a case. It's just ready to go for the most part as is, which actually is very convenient. Also, they have relocated the door to the right side, which means that you no longer need to undo your thing and remove it from the case so that you can pop it out like in the Hero 7. So it does make it a little bit convenient, and you can just access it from the side. Okay, so here's where the design flaw comes in. So if you're like me, most likely you're gonna have your GoPro attached to something, whether it's a tripod mount, whether it's one of the little clip mounts so you can wear it on a helmet or a ski helmet, or you're gonna attach it to something sticky onto the surfboard, whatever it might be, right? But as far as I know, typically, right, this is the front of a mount and this is the back of a mount, right? So you take your GoPro and you stick it in here like you normally would, and then you take your little knobby screw action and you put it in here, right? And I think the majority of people are right-handed in this world, so you take it in and then you screw it in and you got it really nice and tight, right? So what happens is eventually your battery starts to die and you have extra batteries, or for some reason you want to plug it into an external source or whatever it might be, but you want to swap batteries really quick and you do not want to remove the door. Okay, so that's a crucial part of this, yes? So when I'm ready to swap my battery, I come over here to this little sticky door, and it's not enough clearance to actually get the door to unlatch and come around the screw piece right here. Now, what's one solution? Well, I could loosen the screw just a little bit and back it out some, and that'll give me just enough space sometimes to get the door open. Or I have to remove the whole screw the entire time, and I feel like this is the longest one I have because that's the way they come. But really, that's the only solution that I'm finding right now, is to actually remove the screw or loosen it just enough, depending on what kind of mount you're using, to get the door open, and then you can close it back in here again and then tighten things up. For me, that's super inconvenient because a lot of the times I have this thing attached to my e-skate helmet and I have it at the perfect angle and looking at the right direction that I want for myself, and I don't want to have to loosen it and lose that tight little snug orientation that I like. Let's take a look at something else. With the mount that came in the case, we got a different story going on here, right? This time they have the nut on the right side so that when you mount your camera, assuming you want it to go in there, right, that you can put this in here like so. Yes, and then you don't have any issue, which is great, except I'm not right-handed, so I feel your pain, left-handed people now, right? So if you happen to be left-handed, yeah, that makes a little more sense. Then you have access to the door, you can pop it out here, and that's great. But that's only if you're using this mount. I have tons of other mounts on all of my different bits and pieces of GoPro accessories, whether they're authentic or knockoffs, that do not thread through the left side. So I guess the easy solution would be to use your mounts backwards, right, and become left-handed. So instead of this being the front for a tripod mount, you would actually mount the camera backwards, which for a tripod mount maybe doesn't really matter that much because it's small right here, and then you'll have more access to getting the door open and closed. I mean, here's a mount from an older version. I think I probably got this with my Hero 7, where the little nut that comes from GoPro is on the left side, which still comes to the same issue. Looking at a Hero 7, right, we had the little button, or the on-off button, on the right side of the unit here, where in a GoPro 9 they have switched it to the left. I feel like the real issue here probably is that if you take the battery and you just kind of mock it on the back to see how much space it takes up, it's almost around the same amount of space as it gets towards the lens. And my assumption is that probably the lens and the whole camera part of it right here consumes a little bit more space into the housing itself, that we couldn't have a door on the left side behind the camera and still get everything to fit. So I guess at the end of the day, the real question here is it a design flaw? I kind of think so. Is it inconvenient because I'm right-handed? I think so. Do I want to have my little twisty knob on the left side? No, it feels very unnatural and irregular for me. And I feel like this is probably the first time, if not before the GoPro 8, where we didn't have little twisty knobs on the right side of our GoPro cameras. You tell me, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you think about the GoPro Hero 9, any other issues you might be experiencing as well.